Health professionals are reporting that advanced black lung disease is reemerging at rates never before seen by the scientific community. From the 1970s going into the late 1990s, reports of black lung were steadily declining. But since that, there's been a dramatic comeback, especially in the last 5 years. Joining me now to talk about that is Molly Barrows, legal journalist for the Trial Lawyer magazine. You know, Molly, first segment we do has to do with debtor's prison. Now we say we're going backwards with the health of minors, which for the 20s and the 30s was a disaster with black lung disease. I mean, if you look at the composite of these stories, we continue to move backwards. And this is a story that's kind of one of the indicators. Tell me, what are the findings in this report?
Well, it's extremely interesting because, like you said, it was such an issue for so many decades. And in 1968, they passed a law that basically held the mining industry accountable for doing more to protect its miners. So they saw a decrease in on-the-job accidents, and they also made some headway when it came to a worker's health long-term, making sure they get proper testing and this, that, and the other. So during the years, over the decades, when they tested from, say, 1970, when this rule took effect, to the 1990s, you saw a decrease in cases being reported because there was also regular enforcement of the rules that, you know, allowed these folks to get tested and created less harmful working environments, if you will. But what we're seeing now with the rise of cases in 2000 and now in this decade, there are conflicting numbers, but between government agencies as well as independent agencies, they're finding upwards of 1,000 cases of black lung, which is a generic term that really covers several diseases that are related to breathing in coal dust into your lungs. So basically, there's a number of factors that play into this, but the mining industry not abiding by rules certainly plays no small part.
Well, to me, this story, this is a big story. Obviously, black lung increase, but I think it's pardon the pun, but it is kind of the canary in the mine, isn't it? It has to do with our entire culture. We're not moving ahead in things like this. We're moving backwards. Like I said, we started off the show doing a segment on debtor's prison. Now, there was one time when we had a huge black lung problem and we solved it in the United States, and now we're going backwards again. Third worlds are even doing as well as we're doing in that regard. Is there any idea why this coal industry's response to this is what? What are they saying?
Just like with your debtor's prison story, just like so many of the regulation stories that we cover, it goes back to people cutting corners. And so they don't know. They're still basically trying to get to the root cause and point a finger directly at blame. But so far, what many believe is that it's longer working hours. So you have an industry that's basically being downsized. Hundreds of coal mines have closed. Hundreds of miners are now out of work. So those that do have jobs are working longer hours. There aren't as thick of a coal stream or seam is what they call them. You have smaller coal seams, so when they dig for this stuff, it's not just coal dust they're breathing, it's rock and it's silica, so it's creating a more deadly combination to create a resurgence in these diseases.
Arguably, in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, there were some regulations that gave coal miners some protection. But this is across the board. This is not just in the coal mines. The regulations have to be enforced.
That's right.
You have to have a culture and a society that says regulations matter where it comes to human health. And as I look at this story, there's no way that I can look at this and not say there are bigger issues here. And it shows that we, little by little, are just turning into this third world banana republic. This is how we judge how we're doing as a culture and a society. And this is just one more story, just like the debtor's prison, that makes you really ask that question.
If companies did the right thing because it was the right thing to do, instead of looking for opportunities to cut corners at the cost of human life and health, we wouldn't be talking about this right now. The rules are in place to protect people. They're looking for ways to not abide by them.
It is a race to the bottom, and there's plenty of people in the regulatory industry that are more than willing to help. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Pat.